evening, everyone. Oh, that's going to annoy me. That's being the wrong way around. Right. So as per usual, let's get everything set up and started. And when you arrive, give me a thumbs up, or a hiya, or a comment, or anything. That's absolutely fine. Can't find Facebook on my tablet. So how we all doing? What do we know? Anything? Nothing. Let's see. Sorry, my tablet's going really slow. Hi Joe, hi Susan. Right. What we're going to be doing tonight is we are going to be doing some distress smushy backgrounds because I love them and I feel like I haven't done any in ages. And it's going to be, and we're going to be using background stamps in some of our templates and whatever, but we're actually going to make a card front. I'm not going to work on my journal tonight. Now, in fairness, you could do all of this in your journal, or you could do it on a piece of card and then stick it in your journal and then add other things in, but I'm just going to be working on a card panel. Now, what I will tell you now is this cardstock is absolutely atrocious. It's vile, it's hideous. So I am curious as to how it's going to go. But basically, the reason I have it is I bought some... My tablet's stuck. Tell me you haven't stuck. So I bought some card packs sort of in an emergency. And the cardstock's hideous. And I want to use it up, basically. So we're going to see how this goes. Alrighty. Fabulous. What I also did with some of these cards is I made this little book out of card blanks. It's like a little journal book out of card blanks, which I thought would be a really cool way to use them up and whatever. And Lou Sims showed us how to do that on the Crafting Together, so that's quite cool. But yeah, so I've done one page in it that I use paint and things on, because like I say, the card is atrocious. But we'll see how we get on tonight. But you know what it's like, you know, you sometimes buy something in terms of cardstock or whatever. Sorry, I'm just going to come out of it on my tablet just to see if I can get it working. Yeah, you know what it's like, sometimes you buy some cardstock to fill a gap, something you need. But it's not always the best, and it doesn't always work out, and you're like, oh, I'll never buy that again. But the whole point is, you do have some. So you do want to use it. Alright, so that's what we're going to use. Okie dokie. You're okay, just tired. I'm with you, darling, and I slept okay last night. Right, so I've got a bit of a delay on my tablet as well. So if I am a bit behind on the comments, I am sorry. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to work with some bright oxides, and we're going to do one colour at a time. Because I don't want to keep the colours separate. I'm quite happy for them to blend a little bit, but I want to keep them quite obvious in where they are. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that. I'm going to go straight onto my blending mat because that's how I like to. But if I am trying to keep it very directional and I want to have a little bit more control of where it goes, I'll do it using acetate, which you will have seen Jane do, and I think you'll have seen me do as well. So for example, what I'll do is I've got a little bit of acetate there. It's actually like one of the stamp backings, so I'll show you that as well. Alright, so we'll do one colour at a time and see how we get on with this absolutely awful cardstock. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I think I'm going to go in with my yellow first, and I'll tell you why. Because I think if your yellow goes in a bit more places than you want it to go, it's not such a problem. And then your blues, and I'm using blue, so I've got Mermaid Lagoon, mustard seed, and picked raspberry. So for example, if the yellow goes a bit further and you only want to have your Mermaid Lagoon in a couple of places, it's not such a problem. Whereas if you cover it a lot with Mermaid Lagoon, you know, you're not going to really be able to pick up that mustard seed. So that's why we're going to do it that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my sprayer. Now, funnily enough, I did actually get a message about this. This will be alright because we can activate it. We're going to activate it with water anyway. I did get a message this week about the different water mister sprayers and whatever that you can get that we use from Ranger. This one's melted. Dave was cleaning them and he did it with boiling hot water. Bless. But they are different. Okay. I will do a little video on these that's more specific. Okay. But basically, mist, very fine mist, mister, bigger mist, some droplets, spray, more droplets. Okay, so it really does depend on what you're doing as to which sprayer you want to use. They are different, I absolutely promise. So for example, if I just want to activate the ink, but I don't want a lot of pooling, I don't want it to travel a long way, I'll use my mini misters. They are small, so they do need refill quite a lot, but that's why I tend to have a couple on the go. At any given time, and that way, you know, and like I say, it does give you that little bit more control about where you're going. So there you are. Right, so I'm going to go straight in with my sprayer, and again, that's because I'm starting with my mustard seed. Okay, so actually I'm going to just spritz that on there because I want it to travel just a little bit more than that. I want that runny bit down there. Okay, so that is looking pretty good for what I'm after. So I'm just going to dry that in there. Now we're going to be creating a background using background stamps and our Oxides. You could do this same technique with your regular distressing, of course, but what we're going to do is, I don't think I didn't do it for you last week, did you? I didn't give you a preemptive strike on the Wednesday wow. So this week it is the individual backdrop stamps, and that includes a couple of the borders as well. So Sam will get you a link for that in a minute. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use the Doodle Art Butterfly. Now this is the small one. Now what I've done is I have cut these out ready because we're focusing on the background tonight. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm going to ink one up in each colour as we do each colour, and then they can sit and dry. Okay, just one colour, because as daft as it sounds, I'm going to put a bit on the background, but I am going to try and keep it a bit clean and simple. I know what I mean. She says getting ink everywhere, but I do know what I mean. Right, so I'm going to put that over there on the mustard seed to dry. Okie dokie. And we'll get 5 up. Just go for that. I'm sorry, I'm working my way through a backlog of tags again. So now, for example, we were talking about if you wanted to have a touch more control, where you want to add your colours. Now, what you can do in that situation. So, for example, my yellow went on first. That's created a rat kink. My yellow went on first. So for example, if you then were saying, right, well, I want to be very careful about where I have my blue. I only want it to go in a specific area. I only want to go in a specific place. Well, then what I would do is I would put your blue on your acetate. Now, in order to not get it too wet, this is where I would bring in a mister and just activate it a little. Okay, but then it's on your acetate, so you can flip it and then go, right, so I'm going to add some blue there, some blue there, a little bit of blue in this top corner. Do you see what I mean? So it's not quite as random. It still looks quite lovely and messy random, but it's not, because you've sort of had that little bit of control about where it goes. So that's another way of doing it as well. None of these are wrong, they're just different. Okay? So I'm going to go on with the blues here. Oh, I haven't done my blue butterfly, have I? I'll do that in a second. Right, you see this droplet here? I'm actually going to make that run. Not with that mister on, not. It's empty. There we go, create a bit of a... There we go. Keep that down. Right. So, I'm just going to keep building this background. But again, you could colour wash these if you wanted to. You could put them all on your mat and add them in that way. If you want some more crossover, that's absolutely fine. And as you know, if you haven't seen me before, which I think most of you have now, everybody that's watching tonight, you know I love doing that. Putting them all on my mat and getting a good smush on, for want of a better description. Right, so let me just quickly do my butterfly. Again, so you can do backgrounds like this then, and if you wanted to, you could stamp your butterflies on there and then cut them out of this. That's also another cool way of doing it. Okay, so it's all good. There's lots of different ways to play, and I would invite you to use all of them because they're all slightly different. You get a slightly different finish. I'm going to leave that a little bit with some white bits on it because I quite like it. And you know, they're all a bit different. They'll give you a slightly different effect. So it's just a case of playing. I need a straw. I've actually got this fantastic sort of blowy tool thing, but I can't remember how it works. Maggie will have to tell me. I was with her when I bought it. Right. That's one of those things I bought and went, that's great, I'm going to buy it, and I haven't used it ever. And I think that was about 3 years ago now. But I keep it there for when I do want to use it. Right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to then go on with my pickled, whichever you prefer, raspberry. Okay, so I'm going to just put a little bit on there. Go on with my mister. Can't get my acetae up now. So I need that to run just a little bit more. It's a little bit. There we go. And I think I'm going to, with my pickled raspberry, I'm going to have to do a little bit of a splodgy splodge on there. Oh, I like that. And then down there. There we go. Then we've got a couple of spatters as well. So that's all pretty good. And as you can see, once again, do not heat directly on your blending mat. Lift it up. If you don't want to hold things to blend, your brown non-stick craft sheets are brilliant for those. As you can see, I very rarely leave my non-stick craft sheets just loose. The reason being, I've found they get creased and the things that are on them get damaged and whatever. So I use my blending mat for blending because it's a lighter colour, so you can see your colours better if you're using your mat to do that, and it's always good for blending. I use my non-stick craft sheets for paints and prep boards. Okay, and I know I've still got to do a night on prep boards, but you know, we will get there. But this is my non-stick craft sheet that I stuck to a clipboard, and this I use sort of like a paint palette, and then, or just for picking up and doing heating like I just did. Okay, so again, let's get me butterfly and see if there's enough pink pickled raspberry on there to make that work. I'm not sure. I might need to bring in a little bit from blending. I need to blend that one just a little. So I'll let it dry and then we'll do that when we're adding them on. Right, so here is our backing paper, okay? So what we're going to do here, we're going to start having our background stamps and we're going to add them on using the colours that we've been using, okay? So it's going to keep it all sort of bright and fun and not too intense, and that's what we want. So I've got a few of the, as Sam said, I think Sam said there's 14 stamps in this week's Wow. Okay, so I've got a few of them here. Alright, so we've got the mini distressed diamonds, we've got the distressed diamonds, we've got the dots, oh, I've got a couple of them, we've got the drafts, we've got the franking marks, we've got the graffiti alpha, there's some borders and other things in there as well. So it's one of, as you can see, there is quite a lot to play with. So go and have a look. Sam's put the link on. Okay. So here we go. I think Sam's being silly now. It was like we were about to close the register. Silly sausage. Also, what I'm going to have a play with is the dots. Now, this is one of our very, very first inkaballs. Okay. And I absolutely love it. It's got this border here. So if you want to, like, sort of add a corner without worrying about things lining up in your journal, and then it's got this sort of dotty section here, which I really like because it's just sort of random. So this is one of our very first ones, but we still do it because it's one of my absolute favourites. So yeah, and that's a good enough reason to do anything at Be Crafty. It's pretty and I like it. Well, in fairness, it's the only reason we do anything. Right, so I'm going to go straight in with my mustard seed over my mustard seed, right? Just to get a little bit of circles. Okay, and then, so those circles are in now. And then what that means is when I start adding in my dots and those sort of things, it's really, really going to work. I'm really going to like it. So I'm actually going to, I very rarely do this with my background stamps, but I am actually, if it'll stick, because I very rarely use my background stamps like this, they're all really dirty on the back, so they tend not to stick. Oh dear. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with my dots backdrop, and we're going to go in with our Mermaid Lagoon. So I'm going to ink up my Mermaid Lagoon. Now I will say, you know, we always say about stamping, take your ink to your stamp, etc, etc. I can't lie, when I'm doing things like this, it isn't my main concern because I'm doing a sort of distressed look anyway, so it doesn't really bother me if little bits get missed. Basically. Right, the challenge, yes, don't forget the challenge. There's a new challenge up, autumn colours. Yeah, it really took some time to think of that one. So go and have a go. You know, you could win a Be Crafty Stamps voucher. It's got to be worth a pop, hasn't it? Right, so my franking marks. I did treat me to some new franking marks because I don't know where I put my other ones. Okay, so this one you've got a sort of, got a wavy one and a straight one for your franking marks. So obviously these are really cool to add to your journal pages, scrapbooking pages, and all that sort of shenaniganery. Right, so now I'm going to go on with my picked raspberry. I'm going to go on again over the picked raspberry, because look how cool that is when you stamp or blend using the same colour over the top. It works, but it's toning it, and that's what we like. It's really, really cool. I might just add a little bit over the mustard seed. Right, so that is our franking marks. Alrighty. So, who was the winner from the last one? To be honest, I don't think I've picked yet. I keep meaning to go and then I get distracted doing other things. So, yeah, that's not going to stick. My mini distressed diamonds is not going to stick, but that's okay. That's okay. Let me move these out of the way. Yeah, so this is the mini distressed diamonds. So, the distressed diamonds are here, and you've got a 3x4. Okay, your mini distressed... your mini... This one is 10 diamonds across by a lot down. I haven't counted them. Okay, but this one I do use a lot just by rolling my stamp over. Okay, sorry, did I see someone say, do you need the full size? That's one of these things I saw and then didn't come back. Do you need the full size ink pads to do these techniques? Absolutely not. If you've got the Distress Ink minis, which are not available in the Oxides, but they're in the regular Distress, you can absolutely do all this with them. No problem at all. Okay. Jane doesn't have the dots inkable. Look at all these circles, Jane. That's a lot of circles that you don't have. So there you are. So, no, sorry, I didn't announce last month's. It's one of those things I keep going to do. And then basically I don't. I don't have a better excuse. I can try and come up with one if you want. But I don't think it's going to make much difference. Right, so what have we... I will promise that will be done tomorrow, or it looks like Sam and Mum are doing that right now. The cheeky little chappies. Oh, the stars. Yeah, I forgot. We've put the stars on the Wednesday Wow as well. So again, if you are looking to... These are the two. These aren't like some of the new stars. These are some of the other stars. So they would go really well with your new stars if you have new stars. What was I going to say? See? I've done it again. Yeah, so if you're looking, that was it. So if you're looking to build up your background collection and you want to make something, you know, you want to build on it to add for your journaling or something like that, this would be a cracking way to do it. So, words. What words? What words? What words? I do want to add on something wordy. I know what I'm going to do. Because it's missing some black ink. Because the butterflies are stamped in black ink, it is missing some black ink on the background. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my small words here. Okay, I'm going to make sure they're all the right way up because they're not normally. Okay, so I'm just going to put them back on. This is one of the few that I do try and make sure they're back in the right place, and I'll tell you for why. Because I use this a lot as a background stamp. Okay, so I will take my black ink and I will ink over that. And then we're gonna ink over and add some words on to our background, just sort of add that little bit of scriptiness to it. And I use the small words like that a lot because they're just a way of adding some little words, and then you can pick them out. Okay, so you've got like destination there, create there, journey there, love there, you know, so you can really pick those out and just have a bit of fun with it, which is ace. Right, so who are we throwing blankets over and why? Is Rosie tired? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in, because then we're going to put these on here. So I'm just going to come back in because, oh dear, I'm just taking the end off his wing. I'll have to cut the end off the other one now. I knew it was getting weak because I overwatered it. I did say this cardstock wasn't exactly marvellous, didn't I? Okay. So, oh, that's good. I like that. So he'll go there. I think he'll go there, and he'll go there. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp those where I want them to be. Okay. Or to a butterfly. Not bee. Picture's gone wonky. Or is it her? Who can see me? I do not pull the legs off Daddy Long Legs. Oh no, that's mean. People, yeah. Animals, no. Right, okay. So, you've got pixelation, but can you still see me? You can still see me. Right, let me have a look. Sorry, I'm just trying to get back on my tablet, see if I can see what you see. Do. Right. Oh, it's back to normal. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up. So basically, I shouldn't have wasted any of that time at all. I'm going to ink up my Doodle Art butterfly. And I'm going to put one there. And then I'm going to put one there. And then one there. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flex these wings a little bit. Make them nice and flexy. And then, no we're not, we're going to stick this layer onto the card first before I start doing dimensional things with glue. If I was doing this without you guys watching, I would totally finish the layer before I stick it onto the card front, but I like to do, for example, all the wet glue stuff last, because otherwise when I stick it onto the layer and you guys are watching, you'll see it all move. So, but where is the card? There it is. Marvellous. Okay, so this is a card front and I've cut it down. And I'm not going to layer it up. I'm just going to put it on a white layer. Okay, so that's going to go on there. Let me just get some double-sided something. I think we'll go with foam. Give it a little bit of dimension. And then we'll start adding on some butterfly. My tablet keeps freezing. Oh no, then it popped up again. So how is everybody anyway? Have you made something this week? And that was it, the challenge, wasn't it? Yeah, so the challenge is autumn colours. So what I've done is I've put together sort of like a colour board for you to work off, like I did with the rainbow challenge earlier in the year. So that's why I've used sort of hair colours, nail varnish colours, lots of funky sort of things that you can use as your inspiration for this challenge. But you'll see there's oranges, reds, greens, yellows. So it's a really actually expansive colour palette. Don't think autumn colours she means brown. I mean, it can be brown, but I'm just saying it doesn't have to be brown. There's quite a lot in there to have a play with. So let's have a look. Make sure this is the right way around. And then there we go. Okay, and then we're going to start. I'm actually really chuffed with how well this card held up, because like I say, it's absolutely appalling card. It's horrible. I'm thinking that actually might be a better way to put them. Right, so what we'll do is we're just going to flex these wings, give them a little bit of shape. Okay. Pick good, but you're watching on silent. I can't believe Emma Blake's muted me. That's rude. Right, so we're just going to keep those wings moving. And then when we put them here, so you can just flatten them out a little bit. But you can see, aside from adding in the black, we've kept the 3 colours. Okay, and it's just cream because we've blended it, we've stamped it, we've ink smushed it. You do get that sort of tone on tone effect. So this is another good way as well, I suppose, of showing you that we know that the Distress palette is huge. You know, if you've been collecting them for years, you're lucky because you could add to it as and when. Now it's a palette of 62 colours and what have you. So it can be hard thinking, well, which ones do I start with? Do I have to have them all and whatever? Now, I'll warn you now, you know, if you are just building your collection, you are going to want them all. You know, that's a given. But start out with a few colours that you like, that you think will work together, and you can use them. You can use them. You can really sort of create something beautiful just with 3 colours, like I have here. So there we go. Can you guys actually believe I did prep and cut something out? I'm kind of mystified myself. Right, so what we're going to do on here is I had planned to use ticker tape 1, but I think I'm going to get my typewriter alpha. Now this is a really cool, I don't think I've got the backing card for it. No, I don't. This is the typewriter alpha, and it's really cool because, no, I really don't. It's in sort of like the typewritery font that's for the creativity words, but you've got the upper and lower case in there, and you've also got your hashtag, your numbers, you know, an exclamation point, and so you've got those extra things to play with as well. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Right, so I'm just going to move that to the side just a second, and I'm going to get a piece of card. And I think we're going to go with fly. So I'll get an acrylic block, border block. Sam, have all the super skinnies been put back in stock on the website? I can't remember. I know we were going to. I just can't remember if we did. So I'm going to go with fly, and I think I'm going to put it in all capitals, I think. So we'll go fly, 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 fly. And then with an exclamation point at the end. You can see that is not on a straight line. So if you really want it on a straight line, so this is a card where I've been cutting out, and it's got like, it's still got the score line in there. Okay. So, sorry, the speckled egg has been in and out and in and out. Honestly, I swear it's doing the hokey cokey. But we have had confirmation that crackling fire has been allocated today. So hopefully more speckled egg will come in with that as well. Right. So, and then I'm going to stamp with my Versafine Claire. And we're going to stamp on there. Exactly, Kaylee. The challenge is, oh, see, I've pressed a bit hard there. The challenge is, that's exactly why they're there. If you are suffering, oh, for the love of God, from a lack of mojo, and you need something, I'm going to go for third time lucky, and you're looking for, try a new piece of card, and you're looking for a leaping off point, just somewhere to go, yay! and you're not really sure where to start, that's exactly why the challenges are there. Don't get me wrong, they're fun and they're great to enter, and obviously you could win a voucher and it's all really great. That's if we ever announce them, which I think Sam and Mum are working on for the July. But the reason I do them is so that if you want a leaping off point because you are struggling for whatever reason, it's right there. It's right there. Right. Do I add anything else to this? No, I don't think I do. It's like I was going to add some black faux stitch and some black fine line detail, but I actually do want to keep this white space going into the next lot of white space because I think it works. Okay. So here we go. I'm just going to add this on with foam. So there you go. I am not going to do any doodling through a Dinkable. I'm not going to do any faux stitching. I haven't used any washi tape. There we go. See, and I just think that's really pretty. Okay, because it's just using that. But obviously you could apply, like I was saying, at the very beginning of however long we've been sat here now. This, it would be a really good panel in an art journal. It would be an excellent start to a canvas. Okay? You know, that would be a beautiful canvas as a gift. Front of a notebook. And this sort of thing. Because we are starting to think now, well, is there any gifts I can make this year? And whatever. Absolutely you can. And if you are just starting out your distress collection, look at what you can do with 3 colours. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so with that in mind, sorry, I'm just checking. Like I said, I just can't believe I have to say it's fighting every single impulse in my body not to grab a Dinkable and doodle something in there or do a fine line or faux stitch or something around the edge. But sometimes you have to, so that's my challenge, is to leave this alone when I am done. Okay, so so just a few reminders. Okay, so what we've done is we have used all the backdrops we have used, the Franken marks, the mini distress, the dots, the stars, they are all on this week's Wednesday Wow, which Sam has added a link for. So they're great for building up your backgrounds. We have smushed with our distress both onto acetate onto our blending mat. Okay, this is the Doodle Art Butterfly, again, which I am fighting every instinct in my body not to add white details to. Honest to God, it's awful. This is actually, it's almost painful. And I know that sounds really melodramatic, but I really want to add some white detail to it. But I'm not, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm glad I left that one with a bit of white on it. It's helping. It's helping. It really is. So like I said, but you can add this. So have a go maybe in some of the autumn colours. So for example, if you wanted to do this using the autumn colour palette I gave you, the only thing is I would replace is make it a more reddy instead of pink and a more greeny instead of blue. And there you are, you've got an autumn palette ready to go. Okay, so if there is anything else sit on your hands, I'm going to have to, well, I'm going to have to just walk straight out of this room when I'm done. Walk out, clamber out, climb over all the stuff that's in my way to the exit. There isn't even a door anymore. We have to take it off because it didn't shut anyway. Bad, isn't it? So more things for this week. So yes, you've got the Wednesday Wow, that is now live, so you can go and get that. Nobody else will find out till tomorrow, and some of the stuff is quite, and I'm sorry I'm doing that telly thing, but some of the stuff is quite low, so you know, go and have a look, and if you really want it, grab it. Tomorrow me and Mum are always on, oh right, sorry, that's me reading while I'm talking. Me and Mum are on Crafting Together with All Brands. I'm on at 2 o'clock and Mum is on at 7. Her very, very first one. She's very excited about it. bit nervous, but very excited, and so am I. I don't know what I'm going to be doing at 2 o'clock yet, but Mum, bless her, has actually planned hers at 7, so there is techniques and stuff you can learn there. Jane will be back again on Thursday at 8 o'clock here. I don't know if Sam will be doing a Friday chit chat, but date for your diary if you haven't seen. We are back on Hochanda next Thursday, the 17th at 11 a.m. And that was a lot of information to throw at you in about a minute and a half. So I think, you know, we've done all that tonight, and I think Sam's done links for everything I've used here on the Facebook group. If you are watching this later on YouTube, I will try and add them on. So have a great rest of your evening, and carry on crafting, basically, and go and have a go in the challenge, please. And also, lots of people, thank you so much. See, I'm going on again now. Lots and lots of people have been sharing their work on the Be Crafty Stamps group, and I want to say thank you so much. It's absolutely beautiful to see. So if you want to share what you're doing, go and put it with your Be Crafty Stamps, go and put it in the Be Crafty Stamps group. All right then, guys, have a fab evening. Bye bye.